What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Let Fam Gang. Now today, bro, we got when the director uses real bullets. Okay, and it's by Director's Cut. Shout out Director's Cut. If you guys want to see more of the content, make sure you go subscribe. But this is a crazy title, bro. I'm hoping it's clickbait because that's insane. Why would we use real bullets on a movie scene? Like, I get it, the authenticity of it, but yeah, if somebody dies, then what? Like, they probably signed a shit ton of waivers and stuff, but I don't know, chat. So, without further ado, make sure you grab your popcorn. Let's see.
This is Alexei Kravchenko. He's 14 years old, and he's also not an actor.
He don't look like an actor. He look like he terrified, bro, for his life right now. Look at him.
This is his first time on a film set. And this is not CGI. What? These are real bullets that are flying above his head.
Are we dead ass right now? Hold on, chat. If I remember correctly, from the 2 seconds I just watched, did he not just duck from these bullets right now? Those bullets went flying right after he ducked, bro. Like, what if he ducked a little
These are real bullets
later
that are flying above his head. And these are real explosions that they're running from.
Okay, explosions, I could get why you could use that because you could dead ass control the blast radius of that. Like, I get this, but bullets is crazy.
And this is not
especially shooting at someone.
They're swimming through an actual marsh with real deadly parasites. This is a film unlike anything you've ever seen. Spielberg reportedly screened it before the making of Schindler's List, and Tarantino described it as the greatest World War II movie ever made.
I mean, it better be with this type of shit going on with y'all using every single real thing possible. This better be the best movie ever, bro. They better be getting paid big bucks, bro.
What's even more insane is the story of how they made it. Very few people wanted this film to exist. It took nearly a decade and a very, very specific moment in history. This is Come and See.
Come and See. Bro, now I gotta watch this movie, dude. I've never heard of this.
Chapter 1. The Brutality of War. Belarus.
Sheesh.
It's 1943. This innocent boy has just found something that will change his life forever. His name is Floria, and he's just dug up a weapon from a dead soldier. Little does he know, he's about to witness some of the most horrific things ever done to humanity. We follow him as he goes from extremely eager to join the war to being harshly affected by it, and finally having the strong will to end it. The film then builds to a systematic massacre of an entire village.
Yeah, it's actually insane, bro. That's why, like, we gotta, always thank, God, whatever you believe in, thank God that we are in a time where war is not prevalent. I mean, for now, with how things are going in the world now, but I don't know. But anyways, chat, just in general, we're not, anywhere near war, close to whatever, for real. And we don't have to live in these times where you literally, like, just imagine having a family around this time or just being in this time in general, bro. Especially, me being African-American descent and stuff, and, what my people went through in the past stuff, but just everybody, just while the world is in war and having to live around that and go through that, all the innocent lives you, like, see just being lost in front of you and stuff. And it's just like, fuck, man. Like, you always just think about that. Like, wow, I'm lucky to wake up today in a beautiful house and, a family and everything with food on the table and everything, like, not having to worry about that type of stuff because, someone's situation is harder than yours for sure. And especially back then, bro. Holy.
Are herded into a barn based off of actual accounts. The doors are barred and the building is set on fire. And quite famously, the film includes these direct shots into the actor's face where there's no escape from their misery. But Come and See is not like other war films. We don't follow a superheroic soldier or see any of the famous battles. Instead, the film takes place within villages and families and children. And the film does not revolve around heroics, but the idea of human suffering and what war does to innocent people.
I mean, if you think about it, that's like the most accurate way you can capture this type of film because that's what it was, bro. It's literally a whole bunch of suffering. Like, there's no fucking heroes and, what do you call it? What is it called? Anyway, I can't find the word I was looking for, but it's like there's no exact lore to this, no, story, I guess. Like, it's just all wrapped around human suffering, just like you said, bro. So I feel like that's the most accurate way to depict what really went on back then,
Equally horrifying every single time you see it. Yet at the same time, it's such a cinematic masterpiece. Everything in this movie brings you to full immersion in a way that modern cinema hasn't been able to quite replicate. And the story of how they made the film is just as interesting, if not more interesting, as the film itself. Chapter 2. The Three Forces and Pre-Production. There are 3 people that contributed most to this film that I think we should go over. First, let's discuss Elem Klimov, the director of the film. He was born in 1933 in Stalingrad, in what was then the Soviet Union. From an early age, he would experience the horrors of war, which he would use later in Come and See. During one of the city's most devastating battles, he, his mother, and his baby brother were forced to flee via raft through a burning river into the mountains.
Wow.
The city was ablaze up to the top
That's
of the sky.
insane.
The river was also burning. It was night. Bombs were exploding, and mothers were covering their children with whatever bedding they had, and then they would lie on top of them. As a young boy, I had been in hell.
This is literally hell, bro. Just look at this. Just imagine this, like, just in the city where you live in right now. Just everything on fire. Just lit up. Bullets flying everywhere. Bombs going off. You know what I'm saying? Mothers trying to cover their children for their last breaths or something. Like, just all that shit going on, you know, simultaneously while you're trying to get out, or, you know, you have different plans to do. Or if you're even fighting in this war. Like, it's so many different things that is unfortunate for everybody. Like, there's no positives at all to any war, to any fights at this, you know, scale. And it's just it's sad, especially for, you know, the young children that have to go through this and stuff and unfortunately die. But yeah, this is crazy, man. And this director, him going through this and having to flee and making it out and stuff, and being able to see all this, like, that's actually perfect. You know, not perfect that he went through it, because it's unfortunate. You don't want nobody to go through it. But in terms of, you know, his direction, his directive for the film, it allows him to have like a first person perspective of what really went on, rather than just like a, you know, somebody from the outside just trying to replicate as much as possible on what went on back then, when they don't like literally have a first person view of it.
Experience through hell would live with Klimov forever. Yet despite these beginnings, he eventually found his way into film. He started his career with comedies and satires. Nearly every film that he's made has faced some form of interference, delays, or even bans from the Soviet authorities.
Really?
Yet despite the censorships, he would go on to make these types of films until 1979, when something terrible happened.
Yeah, I mean, shit even now gets censored and stuff when you try to get truths out and everything. So I can imagine how it was back then, when they had even more balls. You know what I'm saying? Like, nowadays, you know, censorship goes on, but it always gets called out. And it's like, you can't just get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone's gonna speak up on it. They can only do it so much. We just have too much advancement nowadays, too much technology. Like, you can't just get away with that, even though they try. But imagine back then, you know, like how easily it was to silence people, and how they never had any resources to fight back against like these big, either corporations or big people, you know, people with power, groups with power and stuff. And it's just, that's crazy to think about, bro.
His wife, Larissa Shepitko, also an acclaimed filmmaker, had died in a car accident. And to say that her death had devastated Klimov is a gross understatement. Shortly after her death, he fell into a deep depression, turned to alcohol, and created a 25-minute documentary honoring her legacy. And even more notably, he never made another comedy again. All of his subsequent films became tragedies, but Larissa would leave him with an important philosophy that would guide his final masterpiece. Make every film as if it's your last. He had wanted to make Come and See for years, but Soviet censors were repeatedly blocking his project. But he refused to compromise, and he knew the film was too important, that if he were to make it, it had to be done right. Finally, in 1985, something...
It's honestly amazing, and, you know, I guess you could say fortunate that he even survived with being censored that much and stuff, because I ain't gonna lie, like, people will go through, like, amazing lengths to shut down people, to shut down, you know, them trying to expose things or whatever. Like, people will go through great lengths to get there, and that includes killing people.
Finally, in 1985, something incredible happened.
Especially the Soviet Union back then. No joke, man.
This is Hatyn. It is a bone-chilling recount of the Hatyn massacre. A massacre in which the Nazis locked an entire village into a barn and then set the barn on fire, with half of the inhabitants being children. The occupation of Belarus was one of the most brutal campaigns of World War II. Over 600 villages met the same fate. The book was formed from a collection of testimonies from those who somehow survived. This is the writer, Ales Adamovich. In June 1941, when the war came to Belarus, he was just 13 years old. After the war, Adamovich became a writer. Him and his co-authors would travel across Belarus, collecting real survivor testimonies. He ended up co-writing the novel Teen, which would become one of the prime.
Bro, I find it so fascinating when people that been through tragedies and they come out and write about it. It's like just something so different from that type of vibe that you get when you're reading, you know, a book and you know it came from somebody with that certain experience, with that perspective. And like you said in this one, you know, getting interviews from other people that's been through it and survived and stuff. It's just like, it's really heartfelt, you know, like it's a different vibe and feeling that you get from reading something like this or even watching videos even like this or other things of people giving certain testimonies on what they've been through back then and stuff. It's crazy.
Sources for Come and See. Several directors were pitched to adapt his stories, but Adamovich refused them all. He insisted that there was only one director who could do the material justice. Together, they would create something that didn't glorify war or turn it into an adventure story, but showed as it truly was. But even with Adamovich and Klimov's clear vision, the film remained censored for years until 1985, when the 40th anniversary of Victory Day finally gave them the opening they needed. They had the green light, but they still needed one more piece: the boy. Alexei Kravchenko was not an actor. In fact, he didn't care about the film world at all. He had only showed up to the audition to support his friend who wanted the lead role. Kravchenko went along for moral support, nothing more. And it turns out he ended up being chosen. To prepare Kravchenko for the role, Klimov put him on a strict hunger diet. For days at a time, the 14-year-old would only drink water and run long distances to lose weight. Klimov was also deeply concerned about the potential psychological toll.
I mean, yeah, that would psychologically fuck up a lot of people just from the diet alone. And then, you know, the strenuous activities getting put through to purposely lose weight and stuff. Yeah, that will drive you crazy, bro. Like, trust me, I've been on like diets where I'm trying to restrict myself just from eating whatever. And I'm still eating normal and stuff. So I can imagine like literally going on a water diet and having to do stuff. And I'd be feeling ways, you know, the hormones off and shit. And you just feel like fighting everything. Imagine that.
To protect Kravchenko, Klimov brought in a psychotherapist trained in hypnosis. The plan was to hypnotize Kravchenko during the most violent scenes so they wouldn't traumatize them. But after testing, they discovered that Kravchenko was not susceptible to hypnosis. Kravchenko would later describe the shoot as the happy recollections of my childhood. After the film wrapped, Kravchenko did not act again for another 13 years.
I feel like that was traumatizing shit. That makes sense why he would take that break, because after a movie like this, I don't know, it's just like that experience. And then the fact that he went there not even thinking he was gonna get this role and supporting someone else and then ending up being the golden chosen one and then having to go through all the shit that they put him through just from that diet and shit alone is already crazy. So I'm just imagining the rest of the film and how it panned out.
Hell on earth. From the very start, Klimov had one guiding principle: tell the truth. Klimov's goal was to capture as much realism as possible. Each member of the cast and crew felt a huge responsibility to those who had died. As Klimov said, "I have the will to tell the story for truth, even if it takes 9 months to make the movie, and even if no one watches it." The production designer Viktor Petrov initially tried using pyrotechnics for the explosions. But when Klimov saw the results, he wasn't satisfied. The explosions didn't sound real. They didn't feel real. So Klimov made the ultimate decision that would shock everyone: to use real explosives and live ammunition. This created an atmosphere of real terror among the actors.
Oh my God.
In one scene, Kravchenko and a cow were placed in the middle of a field while live rounds were fired around them. Kravchenko was so terrified that he found himself clinging to Klimov after, asking, "Is there anything else?" Klimov told him to go back into the scene. The entirety of the film.
That's fucking insane, bro. Like, just imagine, you know what I'm saying? You shooting a movie and you getting shot at. Yeah, you getting shot with the camera and the guns. What the fuck? And then you go to the director like, "Bro, I'm scared as shit." He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, but you gotta go get shot some more." Like, nigga, hell no. Nah, but seriously, like, this really captures how crazy this was, bro. He was like, you know, he's seen this shit. He's seen this shit firsthand. So he's like, all this fake shit, nah, we can't have that, bro. We gotta make this authentic. We gotta make this real. We gotta make people feel this shit, you know? So he made the decision, which was a very dangerous decision. I hope nobody died from this. I don't know yet. We'll see. Finish this video, but dude, literally, this could be so dangerous. Like, what if the kid actually like freaked out too much, and then, you know, some people go crazy and they freeze, or they just do something random, you know? Like, when he just got up, he tries to run or something, boom, his head gets fucking shot off. Like, there's just so much things that can go wrong. So it's a real gutsy move here by this director, man. But I understand him. I understand why, though. Like he said, his job is to tell the truth about what went on, like how horrifying it really is, you know? And you can't capture that with fake shit. You know, not all the time. Like, I mean, with technology and stuff, you can make it look as real as possible. But around this time frame, I don't think technology was great enough to really capture how horrifying, you know, these things were.
Even the extras, the villagers, were real survivors or descendants of survivors from the Belarusian fire villages. To prepare the villagers, Ales Adamovich gathered them in a circle and read chapters from his book. He recounted the testimonies of those who had survived the horrors of war. Many of the villagers had heard stories from their parents or grandparents. Some had survived the war as children. The entire crew was under constant stress. But as the production designer later said, all the hardships helped us. Everyone was under constant strain, and it had a powerful effect on the crew. God himself was helpful to us, for the fog not lifting, for the special effects to work, for the crowd scenes with the locals and army personnel to work in harmony.
Right.
Chapter
No, that's
4,
definitely
truth.
God right there.
And yet, despite all this gold
And going through this stuff, just like you said, it will turn you into a different person. Like certain, you know, things that you go through and stuff. Like, that's why, you know, I'm always against either, you know, just completely judging someone or trying to make them feel a certain way about how they feel about something or things they know about and you don't know about, because it's like you'll never understand anybody but yourself and nobody will understand you. So like, why would you go out your way to like try to shit talk someone or do something when you don't understand? You know, you might not understand why somebody's afraid of something so much or is traumatized or whatever, and they've been through so much shit that you'll never even go through in your life, and you're over here trying to talk about them, you know? Like, just I hate that shit. I hate that shit. And this is why, because it's like you never know what people go through, and you know, every single thing that happens in different people's life affects them differently than the next one. You know, you can't like apply just one thing to everybody. Like, that's literally fucking ignorant and naive.
Chapter 4, Truth. And yet, despite all this gore and destruction that this movie depicts, it's surprisingly beautiful.
Honestly, it looks beautiful from the shots and stuff. Beautiful and horrifying, for sure. Jeez. I think he got water in his boot. I don't know. Wow. It's like the detail in this, bro. Did that cow actually die? Ah, damn. Just look at his face right here, bro. You can't act this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can to an extent, but it's like you could see it in his eyes, bro. Jesus Christ, her too. Just completely traumatizing. Look at that.
This is Roger
Oh my
Deakins,
gosh.
widely considered to be the greatest cinematographer of all time. And he's labeled Come and See as mandatory viewing.
Conrad Orr used to say he was really trying to create beauty with ugliness. You know, he wanted to make ugly films that were beautiful, which seems a total contradiction.
Right.
But you know, how do you film something that is so brutal but engage the audience with it? That's the key to the film, in a way, that the horror is something you imagine right until the end, when obviously you see the real footage, and then Klimov is basically saying, I could have shown you something much worse.
Wow.
After
bro.
screening in East Germany, a former soldier who had been stationed in Belarus approached Klimov and said, "Everything you showed is true, but I tried to forget about it and never told anyone. Now, when my children see this film, I don't know what to tell them." And for some reason, even decades later, the film seems more relevant than ever before. As the writer Joseph Brodsky once said, in a real tragedy, it is not the hero who perishes, it is the chorus. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon.
Yo, this is crazy, bro. It's like, you know, I know a lot of people would think like, damn, why we have to make movies like this and stuff, and it's, you know, it's horrifying, it's disturbing, it's sad, but it's like, you know, it's important to put things out there like this, you know, to really captivate history and what people really went through and shit, because like I said, you will never understand unless you see it, unless you learn, unless you feel it. But most people are not gonna feel it. But it's like with these cinemas that they're putting out, with these movies, you know, we usually get emotions from movies. We usually get like a feeling from it in our soul. But it makes us sad, it makes us happy, it makes us cry, it makes us laugh, like, you know. And so making a movie like this and making it so authentic, to even to the point where they're using real bullets, real explosions, you know, real suffering, real pain, like you could feel that through the screen. And some people need to feel that to understand what they went through. And even people that went through that, it's hard for them to see, but it's like, damn, like this is really what we went through. Because even people that went through, they forget how fucking terrible shit is, you know. But it's just important. It's important. It's an important stamp of history. I'm glad it didn't get blocked, and that, you know, anything happened to the directors and stuff, that movies like this were, you know, come out. And I'm definitely gonna give this movie a watch now, bro. Now that I heard about it. But yeah, this is beautiful, man. Chad, let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.